everybody. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Cupid. I am your hostess, Marla Martenson, and I'm with Dean Sluyter today, and we're going to talk meditation. Hey, Dean.
Hey, how you doing, Marla?
Great. Well, I'm excited because Dean has spent a lifetime learning authentic methods of natural meditation from Eastern and Western sages, and he's completed numerous retreats and pilgrimages to Tibet, India, Nepal, and Europe for decades, and leads workshops. So anybody who wants to find out more about meditation, this is going to be for you, because he's got this amazing new book called Natural Meditation. It's so much fun. It's not dry. It's got all these funny stories and ways and things to implement. So I'm going to ask you, I would love to be a better meditator. My mind, I'm a Gemini, and I always say, I've got two people in here, and my mind's going nuts. And so, like, you have in here some expectations. Meditation is hard. It requires you to concentrate and make your mind a blank. It requires a spiritual attitude. It conflicts with your religion. It won't help your problems. It will magically, immediately solve all your problems. So Tell us a little bit about why we should meditate and why it's so darn hard for some of us.
Right. First, let me point out that I'm a double Gemini.
Now, what makes you, the moon or something?
It means Gemini with Gemini rising.
Oh, boy.
So according to astrology, I'm like, there's 4 people running around in here.
My birthday's June 11th. When is yours?
It's a little later in the month.
Oh, okay.
But what that did, so I mean, I was really, from a very young age, it was chatter, 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 chatter.
Yeah.
And that turned out to make me the perfect person to do what I wound up doing with my life. Because for one thing, I had an experience, one of my really formative experiences at about the age of 11, where my mind was going chatter, 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 and what about this and what about that? And actually, it was anxiety even at that age. It was worry. I didn't know that it was worry because I just thought that's how life is. That's what it's like to have a mind. It's just, running around chasing its tail all the time. One afternoon, my family was going to go to a drive-in movie. Now, this dates me, I know. And my mom sent me out, and I had 2 brothers. My mom sent me out to the garage to the Nash Rambler station wagon, which also dates me, to clear out all the toys and comic books and things that my brothers and I had left there. So I go out there, my mind is going, blah, 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 blah. What about this? Blah, blah, blah. And the next thing I pick up is a Mad magazine. Mm-hmm. And on the cover, of course, is Alfred E. Newman, Mad's idiot mascot. And underneath, as always, is his slogan, "What? Me worry?" And all of a sudden, my mind just stopped.
Wow.
It just, somehow, I was, that apple was ready to fall from the tree, and that was the little, burst of wind, the little breeze that it needed, and it fell, and my mind just went completely into a state of silence, boundless, blissful silence. Much later on, I started reading about these things and found out, there are names like Satori and Samadhi and the kingdom of heaven within you and so forth. And I mean, I was there, socked in for the rest of that night, the whole time watching the dopey Troy Donahue film we went to see and into falling asleep. So I experienced that contrast. And I experienced that even chatterbox people like you and me can experience that. Mm-hmm. And then later on, when I found out, this is called Satori or Samadhi, and you get there through meditation, or about 10 years or whatever it was, around the age of 17, I started seriously checking out teachers. I was now in San Francisco, and it was the golden age of, teachers, gurus, and rishis and roshis were showing up from all over the world. And I tried some of the forms of meditation, such as Zen, where you got to sit like a stone Buddha, and you're expected to quiet your mind, to not think, to all those things that you read from my book, all the expectations that people have. And I found that I couldn't do it. And I thought that, it must be me. There's something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. But in any case, I couldn't do it, so I moved on. And what I found out was it wasn't me, it was that approach.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
because this is what I wonder now. Why do we need a teacher? Because now I have gone to some meditation things where, but if you just have to make your mind blank, how much can you teach someone? I mean, what is there to teach, and what are some of the different approaches, and what's your approach? Because
Right.
I would hope we could just sit down and then just make our mind blank, and then we're
Mhm.
meditating. But
Yeah,
it's
that
not
would
so
be right.
easy.
No, it's not easy because the idea of making your mind blank is it's self-defeating. It's
Okay.
self-defeating. If we think of the mind as being like an ocean, and all our activity of thinking and perceiving and emotions and so forth are like the waves on the surface of the ocean. So if we approach this as a task,
Hmm.
I'm going to make the mind blank. I'm going to flatten out all those waves. So what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? I got to find some kind of mallet and go around wham wham, like a game of whack-a-mole,
Right, whack
and
'em.
bam bam bam, flatten out all the waves. Now, it doesn't work because there's too many waves. Just like in whack-a-mole, you hit one mole, three others come up. B, all that whacking is itself a form of agitation. That's just churning up more water.
Hmm.
So it's counterproductive. Every once in a while, people who try to meditate that way, every once in a while, they'll sink into some, lovely satori, lovely transcendence. And you know why? Because they've gotten so exhausted from trying to make their mind blank, they finally stop trying.
Yeah.
And for that moment, they slip. And then they go, okay, all my months of trying finally paid off. I had 5 seconds of bliss.
Yeah.
Now I'll dig in for another 5 months of trying. So, what I learned when I got essentially flunked out of the Zen meditation and I went looking for other teachers, what I found was teachers who showed me that there's an alternative approach. And the alternative is rather than try to flatten out all the waves, you allow yourself to sink into the water. And you discover that about a foot or two beneath the waves,
Hmm.
the water's always already silent.
Okay.
So let the waves do whatever they want. They're up there somewhere, you're not bothering with them
Mm.
because that's just mind. That's just thought. Thoughts are just there within the scope of awareness, within the on the screen of awareness, we could say, in the same way that right now the colors of this room are here, the sounds of our voices back and forth are there. That doesn't, if you were a Buddha, if you were and I'm not saying Buddhist, a Buddha, completely awakened one,
Hmm.
sitting right now where you're sitting, you're in your room, you're seeing those colors, you're hearing this sound. If you were a Buddha, in order for you to feel infinitely okay, happy, satisfied, what would you feel you needed to change about the experience you're having right now?
I guess nothing.
Yeah. And everyone knows that. Everyone knows the answer. I'm always asking people that question. Everyone knows the answer. Okay, now who's right? You or the Buddha?
Right.
you know? In other words, somehow intuitively we know there's nothing wrong with these
Right.
colors being
Right.
here. There's nothing wrong with these sounds, with these thoughts being here. It's only the only difference between us and a fully awakened being, us and a Buddha, is that we're knocking our head against it. We're
Because
working
with the
against it.
meditation, aren't we? I mean, I'm thinking my goal is to be able to, I guess, have the pineal gland, the third
Wait,
eye
stop,
open.
stop, stop, stop,
Okay.
stop,
Okay.
stop. See, as soon as you say the word goal, wrong already.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a little bit brutal here.
Okay. Be
Okay,
brutal. I
we're
need it.
we're, we're cutting through.
Beat me
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Okay. Here's the alternative. Okay. Here's the cover of my book. Here, I got mine. You got yours. Hey. Okay. Now, on the cover, I've got a feather settling to the ground,
Yes.
floating down through the sky. Actually, if you go to my website, which is deanwords.com, because no one can spell my wacky last
I'll
name.
put the link.
Great, thank you. So deanwords.com. And I've got a little cartoon there that where
Hmm.
we've animated the feather and talked about how this whole thing works. I
Okay.
give the whole story in 2 minutes. When a feather falls out of the sky, it's going to get to the ground in 100% of cases,
Right.
right? Now, if we start thinking, oh, I've got to manage the feather, I've got to navigate for the feather. Oh, it's going to the left. It's supposed to be going to the ground. But hang in there, relax. And oh, now it's going to the right. Gee, is it going farther to the right than it went to the left? Now it's caught in a tree limb. Doesn't matter. In its own sweet time, it is going to settle to the ground. Why? Gravity.
Yes.
Gravity works in 100% of cases. Now, in the case of human consciousness, what do we gravitate toward all the time? Happiness, peace, that sense of wholeness, the sense of okayness, which we all had glimpses of in childhood, in those moments like I did, cleaning out the car. A lot of people have it when they're doing sports or playing their music, feeling in the zone, where somehow time goes away, space goes away, the sense of being stuck inside the body goes away. Somehow everything is infinitely okay for no particular reason, right? We've all had glimpses of that. It's the most natural thing in the world. And then we spend our lives trying to get back to that, right? Everything we do, every decision we make, you're lining up at Ben and Jerry's, you're looking at the menu. Okay, do I want the, Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream, or do I want the Cherry Garcia? I know what you want. You want nirvana. You want infinite happiness, but it ain't on the menu.
Yeah.
So you settle. And that's what we're doing all the time. We find something that in this moment, in this given situation, seems like the most reasonable approximation of boundless happiness that we can find. And we don't have to think about this. We intuitively do it in every moment. And it's because we're built that way. We are built, it's like heat-seeking missiles. We are happiness-seeking organisms. We are spontaneously, automatically pulled to that. Now, what my teachers taught me was simply how to use the nature of the mind instead of fighting it, which is what most forms of meditation do. To use the nature of the mind, to let that gravity pull you below the surface of the ocean, below the waves, and there you are. And it's ridiculously simple. I taught in a high school, a very fancy prep school out where I am at the moment in New Jersey for 33 years. And I taught them to meditate, the squirmy 15 and 16-year-olds. And then and it was a fancy prep school. These were kids that were getting ready to go into, Ivy League colleges. And then I would go down the road on Thursday nights. I was just there last night to Northern State Prison, which is the roughest maximum security prison in New Jersey, teaching the prisoners there. Guys.
That is so valuable. That is fantastic.
It's fantastic. And people always say, oh, Dean, that's such a noble thing. Forget it. It's that there is nothing more fulfilling than working with those guys. And what I found was I could teach them in exactly the same way as these Harvard-bound kids, because the human mind is the same everywhere. I was just in Guatemala teaching some corporate heads and their wives. Same stuff, same stresses, same problems, same tensions, and same amazingly direct route to just settling beneath all that stuff. Not trying to clear it away, just settling beneath it.
And then, so we don't want a goal, but what I'd like to happen is seeing into different portholes, seeing the third eye open and seeing different things. Is that something that we should hope for, aspire to? Does it matter if that would ever happen? Or do you think that would if we kept on every day as a practice?
Well, if by third eye, we're speaking metaphorically, we're talking about the eye of wisdom, and that's like a very beautiful...
The pineal gland, and that's how we can see into different...
if you look into different traditions, and I've done that. I mean, I'm an old hippie, I was reading all the books about chakras and doing a lot of yoga and all that.
Yeah.
And if you look at different systems and authentic traditional systems, each one has a slightly different picture of what that is. Is it are there 7 chakras? Are there 5? Are there 12? So I don't talk, because the teachers that I found who seemed to be most tuned in, that I could connect with, they didn't make a big deal about that. What they said was, go for the infinite. and then whatever the specifics are of how that's going to unfold, whether it involves unfolding 7 chakras or 10 chakras, or you never even have to think the word chakras, it opens everything. In the Gospels, Jesus says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be added unto you."
Yes,
Right?
because
So,
I know a lot of the reason people want to meditate is to get the maybe download, get some messages from our spirit guides or from our higher self, or
mhm.
get some clarity on something that would open up or
Yeah,
come in than just sitting there blank. I mean, just that's
yeah.
supposed to be
What, well,
relaxing, but I think,
whatever you're doing,
uh-huh,
whatever you're tuned into.
yeah,
Some people are tuned into spirit guides,
okay,
God bless.
okay.
Some people are tuned into, my great passion these days
Angels!
is my great passion these days is playing the ukulele.
Okay, like Bob Doyle from The Secret. He's a ukulele player. Anyway.
Uh, well, I'm a ukulele player
All
like me,
right.
and I'm playing old Hoagie Carmichael songs and so forth.
Love
And
it.
what I find is that when I sit, and as you said, well, we don't want just blank, but we do want, and again, it's not a matter of blank; it is a matter of clear,
Hmm.
which is a
I
little
would
different.
like blank. I would be.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, what happens is, think of it as like a lake. If you have a very choppy lake, whatever is reflected in it is going to be choppy.
Hmm.
If you can get it clear, settle down a bit, then bring things in, and whatever's reflected in it, you're going to have clearer reflections. So what that means is that natural meditation, settling into boundlessness,
Hmm.
which is your own ultimate nature,
Okay.
your ultimate nature at our core. How can we be less than the boundless? How can we be less than the infinite? Okay, so we settle down into that, and one aspect of that is just this crystal clarity.
Hmm.
Crystal clarity. Then you come out and engage with your spirit guides, or play your ukulele, or play your golf game, or whatever floats your boat, and you're going to be bringing that clarity to bear on it.
Okay.
Is that making sense?
Yeah, yeah. And how I know people will say, well, even if it's 5 minutes a day, that's a benefit. What do you suggest? And I hear a lot of times twice a day is really the best, morning and evening, or what would you say if you want somebody says, look, I want a meditation practice and I really want it to benefit me. What would you suggest on that?
Right. What I would say, it's really good to do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, Something about sitting down every day, at least once in every 24 hours. You keep dipping your toe into that. Your mind, your emotions, your nervous system, everything kind of gets reminded of, yeah, that clarity, that
Yeah.
silence, which is my core, which is what I've been all along, which I was just distracted by all this outer stuff. I kept looking past it.
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing is do that every day, and then it is really good to set up some kind of routine that's like brushing your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You get up in the morning, you don't think, oh, when am I going to brush my teeth today? When am I going to get around to it? Or does today feel like a toothbrushing day?
Right.
Do I feel philosophically inclined? No, we don't go through. We
No.
just do it, make it a habit. So it's good if there's a way you can build it into your day. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I do a little stretching, and then while I'm on the living room floor there, pull a cushion under my butt and sit for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, it's going to be, in the commuter train or the bus on the way to work or on the way home from work. And a few minutes a day is enough if you're practicing in this natural, effortless way
Mm-hmm.
that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah. That's the thing.
the if a lot of people, you'll hear, oh, to do serious meditation practice, you have to spend at least an hour a day or do it twice a day for X many minutes. That's usually because people are doing effortful forms of meditation where you can do lengthy practice. And if you're doing that effortful practice, you have to do it long enough until, as I said before, you exhaust yourself and forget to to
Or if
concentrate.
you're Deepak Chopra, he says he does 2 hours or 4 hours every day. For sure, two. Maybe, but he does it a lot. But
Mhm.
he can do that.
Well, what I found, and I've been seriously engaged with this stuff since 1968.
Mm.
Okay, before you were born, my dear.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you, but no, I was born, but thank you.
okay, when you were a tiny little baby, um, and um, and again, still practice every day, and I occasionally go on retreats where I'm practicing, doing lengthy practice, and I love going into silence. Go on a week retreat and not be talking to anyone. It's great, but um, at a certain point in your practice, what you find is that almost as important, in some ways more important than the actual sitting, is what happens, is the way you're integrating it in the other 23 and a half hours of the day. So, for example, when you're sitting at the red light, right, LA traffic.
Yeah.
By the way, LA traffic is nothing compared with Guatemala City traffic.
Oh, or Mexico City. I know. It's
Yeah.
like when I come
Right.
back from Mexico City, I'm like, this is nothing. There's
Right,
nobody
exactly.
around. It's
But
like,
so you're sitting at the red light,
yeah.
and you're running a little late, and that thing where you're sitting there going, you're trying to make the red light turn green faster. Okay.
Go.
Yeah. Now, have you ever noticed that doesn't work?
Go. No, it
Yes.
doesn't.
It never works. And here, right now, is my personal guarantee to you that for the rest of your life, that will never, ever work. Now, can you feel how liberating that it is to know that that's never going
just to release and let go, not,
Exactly. You can stop trying because it ain't
Right.
going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and everyone hearing this, I really want them to, if nothing else, I want them to hear this so that the next time you find yourself doing that, you're busted.
Yeah.
You have a good laugh at yourself because this is really dumb, and you're not going to make the light turn green. You might make your knuckles turn white.
Right.
And you always have a choice, whether you're at the red light, whether you're standing in line at the post office, and the old lady is at the front of the line.
Or at the bank. I see people freaking out at the bank,
Yeah. And when you stand in line at the bank or the post office, and you can feel everyone in the line going, come on, come on. And what they're doing, as the Buddha explained, is they are creating their own suffering.
Yeah.
And you can join in with the chorus of suffering the way you've always done before, or you can say, hey, this is an opportunity to practice. Opportunity to practice letting go, letting be. So if we just say letting go, people think that means stuff's supposed to go away. No, let it go, and let it be just as it is, and just kind of settle back into this awareness, which is aware of all the stuff going on. This silence, which is the witness of all of it and always has been. It's the silence which was the witness when you were 5 years old, that looked down and saw your little 5-year-old body, and you're blowing out the candles on the birthday cake, and and you squealed and you had your little high 5-year-old voice. And notice it's the same awareness now. It's the same silence. It's the same witness that now looks down and sees your whatever 29-year-old body, and hears your voice, right? And
hey, my first drive-in movie was The Planet of the Apes, so you can see how I was dated there, right?
Right,
the
right,
original Planet
right,
of the Apes.
right. So by the way, people sometimes tell me I look like Charlton Heston in that film.
Oh yeah, you do, yeah.
You damn dirty apes. So you always have that choice. This is the point. You can go back to your old habit of knocking your head against the wall, and just this what's going on is unsatisfactory. I need it to change now. And how's that worked out for you so far? So you can keep doing that, or you can go, okay, God bless. This is a chance to let go, let be, and remember the Buddha. If the Buddha were standing here in line at the bank, what would he need to change? Would he need the line to move faster for him to be chill with it? No. Yeah.
So I have another question. How can meditation what can meditation do for relationships? As I'm a matchmaker, so I've always got
Yeah,
to turn everything around
yeah,
to
good.
love, and I know you talk about that, how it can help relationships.
Right, right. Yeah, well, first of all, we can go back to the little analogy we used before about the surface of the lake.
Hmm.
You know, whatever is, if the lake is clear, you get clear reflections of everything, whether it's your spirit guides or your golf game or your relationship.
Hmm.
That clarity, that if you're you know if your head is full of cobwebs and sawdust and peanut butter, whatever you're trying to process is going to get gunked up.
Hmm.
If your head is clear, open, your heart clear, open, then it's all going to be good. It's the prerequisite. Now, I'll give you an example. Several years ago, I was at an Aikido dojo, it's a martial art that I used to practice here in New Jersey, and I had we had some kind of seminar there. And when you come in, you know, everyone takes off their shoes, and there's a wooden rack. You put your shoes on the rack. And I had this pair of shoes that I'd gotten just a couple of months before, Merrell's. And they're, oh, this is the most comfortable shoe in the world. And I got these really nice black suede ones. And the rack was already full, so I put my shoes on the floor.
Hmm.
And then we had the seminar. It was great. Then it was ending. People were leaving. I was one of the last to leave. I go over to the rack and I look at the floor. My shoes aren't there. And I see another pair. I see a pair of like almost identical
Hmm.
black suede Merrells up on the rack. But I know I left mine on the floor. And I go, oh my God, someone saw my shoes, mixed them up, and they took mine.
Yeah.
Well, I can't go home barefoot. So I took those shoes
Uh-huh.
and I put them on. And you know how ooky it is, like wearing someone else's shoes?
Yeah.
And you know, mine had been just perfectly molded to my feet.
Right.
And I feel these didn't really quite fit right and all that.
Hmm.
And I went home and I took a photo of them. And I made a little poster on my computer, and I
Yeah.
came back to the dojo and post, "Who, if you took my shoes and now I've got yours, please call Dean Sluyter at this number." And And I'm walking around in these shoes. Oh, I couldn't stand it. I had to put on my other shoes.
Yeah.
A week or two later, I come back to the dojo, and the woman who helps run the place is there, and I mentioned this to her, and she said, "Oh, I remember that at the seminar. Yeah, and when people were leaving, I moved your shoes from the floor. I put them up on the rack." Okay, right, right.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Uh,
So this is the power of the mind to create. Can I say bad words here? This is
yeah,
the
go for it.
this is the power of the mind to create bullshit. This is the power, and this is what we do all the time. We're spinning these stories, and then we have to live in them. We think they're real. Okay.
I can I interject one that I think you're
Yeah.
gonna crack up. So I'll never forget this. I was probably around 41 at the time, and I was going for the first time for Botox. A friend of mine says, "I'll get you a great deal. This guy is a friend. He does Botox. Go and get it." Okay. So I
Mm-hmm.
go, and they take close-up pictures of your face right here, and
Mm-hmm.
so you can see, I guess, before or whatever, what you need to fix. So he took a
Right.
picture, whatever. So then I'm waiting, and then he's showing me some different before and afters, and then I'm looking at these pictures, and this one picture comes up, and I'm like sitting thinking to myself, "Oh geez, that poor woman, that's pretty bad," and then I find out that was
Right.
me.
Right.
That was my
Right. Right.
that was
Right.
my face,
Yep.
and I didn't
Yep.
know it, but I was like, "Oh geez." So
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the shoes, but got the
Right.
Botox, and then
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
so
So the thing is that the same mind that we bring to bear on the issue of the shoes or the issue of the facial photographs is the same mind that we bring to bear on our relationships. When we're dealing with a relationship, you know, we can't suddenly have a whole other consciousness and a whole other bunch of stuff that we bring to bear. It's the same equipment. It's the same consciousness. And so, again, this is why it's so much simpler than people think. It's the one thing, settle into that peace, settle into that clarity, and then come out, and you're just going to be generating less bullshit. And in the case of the relationship, projecting less bullshit, let fewer stories on your partner.
Yeah.
You're able to see more and more clearly, see who and what your partner really is.
And let them
Now,
be, right? Not to try to
and
change
let them,
things, just
yeah,
let them be.
that's the next thing. Yeah. You know, this thing about changing people,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, the women
like,
always think
like,
he's great, but if I just change this or that,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Who wants to
yeah,
be changed, right? It's
yeah, yeah. How easy is it to change yourself?
right. Yeah, that's hard enough. How are you going to change
That's
them?
a, yeah, right. Yeah, that's hard enough.
Yeah,
And to change someone else, forget about it.
forget it.
But the thing is, when we're trying to change them, we're trying to get them to fit into our story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and usually it's our story that's the problem,
Yes.
right? Now, the thing is that because, as we were saying before, our whole life in every moment is seeking happiness, seeking fulfillment. When we go to the Ben and Jerry's, right, we're trying to find the flavor, the ice cream that is going to, give us the ultimate orgasm. When we were little, mommy, buy me the Barbie doll. If you
Oh
buy me
yeah.
the Barbie doll, that'll be it. I'll never, and we really think that. Get
Yeah.
that Barbie, the GI Joe, I'll be so happy my head will explode. I'll never want another thing. And then, and being affluent Americans, we got the Barbie and the GI Joe, and it really seemed to be it for about 15 minutes.
Right.
And then, oh, mommy, I need the Barbie dream house, and I need the Barbie convertible, and
Yeah.
and we're still playing that game because we keep identifying happiness with outer objects, experiences,
Mm-hmm.
situations. Now, the thing is, no object, this glass of water, if we chemically analyze it, we'll find what's water made out of?
H2O.
Yeah,
Right. It's
right. Yeah,
hydrogen and.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So if we take it, I flunked
Yeah.
chemistry.
I
So, so,
didn't take.
so if we take it and break it down into molecules, we'll find hydrogen and we'll find oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
We won't find happiness,
Mm-hmm. Even though it
right?
starts with an H.
That's right. No, none of these outer objects contain happiness, but we keep trying to find happy.
Right.
If we take the Barbie doll and take it apart, we'll find, some chemicals. We won't find happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So what that tells us
Mm-hmm.
is that the reason we experience happiness in the context
Mm-hmm.
of the Barbie doll is that we've been seeking, wanting, desiring. We get to a fever pitch on Christmas morning. We tear it open. And we go, ah. And at that moment, what's happened is we have stopped seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows the attention to settle back into itself. The consciousness settles back into itself and briefly experiences its own nature, which was boundless happiness, boundless peace all along.
And is that why they say, that thing, well, once you stop looking, you'll meet the right person because you're putting out that seeking, and something outside yourself. But then once you accept and say, I'm just happy with my life, and then bam, you meet that person. Or wanting to get pregnant, like you're so desperate, once you adopt one or you give it up, you get pregnant. It's kind of that relaxing.
Once we give up seeking,
Mm-hmm.
and seeking is so ingrained that it's, on a certain level, just we can do it attitudinally.
Mm-hmm.
But on a deeper level, even though we go, okay, intellectually I understand seeking is self-defeating. I'm going to stop seeking.
Yeah.
But it's so kind of neurological. Mm-hmm. We're still for instance, right now you're waiting for the
bus.
Rest of this sentence. See? Right? You see how you see how ingrained it is.
Right, right.
So, and that's why beyond just taking that attitude, meditation, where you're neurologically, when I lead a meditation at the end, I ring the bell for people to come out, and I always tell them, now take a few minutes to before you start to open the eyes slowly, because people sometimes more than they realize, when the mind settles down, it's neurologically, it's physiologically real, it's concrete, and by now we've had all this laboratory research corroborating that it's not just an imaginary thing. The heart rate changes, the brainwave activity changes, everything settles to a very profound state of rest. So you have to come out a little bit gradually so you don't shock the the system. So it's by settling into that deep, neurologically deep state of rest and just marinating in that, that really ingrained habit of seeking, where we're waiting for the rest of the sentence, right? That even that gets dissolved.
Okay.
And then, see, here's the key. We're always wanting other things to make us happy. Then in the relationship, we're requiring that other person to make us happy.
Yes.
Meanwhile, that other person is requiring us to make them happy.
Right.
So we're both like little, we're coming from the deprivation model. We're like little Oliver Twist with his little empty bowl. Please, sir, I want some more.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens as we continue to practice meditation is you're just filled with actually, it's not even really a matter of being filled. It's what you were all along.
Right.
But now more and more it's conscious. You've recognized, you're directly, vividly experiencing in every moment what you are, and that's full. So now your cup runneth over.
Right, right.
Right? And so now the model, the whole model of relationship is completely turned around. Instead of each person being like a little vampire, give me happiness, we're already happy, and we're radiating it to the other. And
right, and it's very unattractive to have somebody who's desperate or looking for you to do something. It's just, that's why women, I think, we're attracted to the bad boys, because they've got a million girls, they don't need us, they could care, they're not paying attention, and you're like, I want that guy's not, but the one that's too nice and meek and, let me do anything for you, we're like, I don't want the nice guy, I want the bad guy, because like you said, they've got it going on, they're happy with themselves, so it's attractive, it's attractive.
Yeah, now we got a bad boy running for president that has attracted billions of voters. Yeah.
And I was thinking, if I could just have just the confidence, of just his little pinky, I'd be really going great. Just that I like the enthusiasm, I like the confidence.
However unfounded it might be.
Right, yes, but I think if we can have a little more confidence in ourselves, there's always something to take from there, right? So
yeah.
Well, Dean, thank you so much for spending this time with us. And you guys, this book is fantastic. I've got all the links below. And let us know in the comments your questions about meditation or what you're doing. And thank you so much.
Oh, let me mention.
Yes.
Let me mention for those of you all who are in the LA area.
Yes.
You'll find this information on my website. We have regular sessions every other Tuesday night in Santa Monica. They're free. They're open to everyone. I lead the natural meditation. And then if you're not in LA, bring me. I travel everywhere. Bring me. Set up a workshop. I'll come and teach it.
Cool, you guys. I'm in LA, so let me know if you want to meet me there. All right. I'll see you there then, Dean.
Okay. Thank you so much.